Hi, Dan from DJMoore Lofts, and in this video I'm going to explain the structure of how we've converted this dormer conversion on a truss roof. So this is a small little house that we've done. We're doing 2 of these properties at the moment, and this video is purely just to go through how we've actually structurally converted it. So let's start with the basics. So we've got what's called an eaves steel beam. Now this spreads from gable to gable, and it's got a metal spreader plate underneath it, and that allows us to put a beam there to then support some of the rafters as well as taking some of the floor. But as we just touched on, the rafters, so what we've got here is we've got a doubled up rafter. So the spec on this one is a 6x2 sat alongside. We've used what we call timber locks to fix it alongside, as well as we would have nailed it as well as that. So that effectively helps support the front slope, so stop it from sagging. And then at the top we've got a ridge beam. So the idea of the ridge beam is to stop the front roof wanting to push that way, so that keeps that locked in place. And then we've got these little ceiling collars that go along to basically support it. And then down at the bottom we've got what we call our dwarf wall, which you'll see here if I show you, that effectively we've got a stud that goes directly up underneath the rafter and then one alongside it, and then our engineer is happy with a timber lock into there as well as nailed, and that basically gives us a solid fixing to support the rafter to stop it sagging down. And then obviously the weight is then transferred onto this eaves beam. Then at the top we've got our dormer roof that continues out, and we've basically created what we call a goal post. So you'll have like a double post in the corner. We like to put double posts either side of the windows and another one, and we basically create a goal post, and then that allows the other end of our roof joist to sit on there and span back to there. Then we've got our cheeks of our dormers that are built. Now this side is sat onto the party wall just purely because next door we've done the exact same. But what we will do, so this isn't a fully finished, but what we will do is we'll chop this chop these bricks black, I can't even speak, chop these bricks back, and we will infill that solidly with cement and brickwork, just so that the weight is then transferred perfectly onto that party wall. On the opposite side we've got a rafter here that we will add another doubled up rafter alongside it. That basically just same thing again, stops the rafter sagging. On this side it's not as important, because what we are going to do is build a double, sorry not double, we're going to build a single stud wall all the way along there, so it's one continuous wall, so it's nice and flat for the client, for the headboard and so on and so forth. Now with regards to the floor, like I touched on earlier, we've got the eaves beam there, and then we've also got another beam in the middle here. So the idea being is, instead of us spanning floor joists all the way from there to there, making the joist depth extremely large, by us putting a beam in the middle, that basically splits the span down so that the joist can be a lot smaller, a lot lower, more efficient, more economical in costs as well. Now, when it comes to stills, a lot of people would try and keep them in full length beams, which arguably is nicer and easier. But what we try and do is have splices in them and stuff like that. So our engineer designs it in such a way that we can have splices in it. This just makes it far more easier. Instead of us having to slide stills in through gables and stuff like that, we can make a hole in the roof where the dormer is, for example, drag the stills in, and then basically make pockets in each side to then get the stills in, rather than having to try and do it in one big long length. And then you'll see here, obviously, how the makeup of our stills with the dwarf wheel set on top. Same thing here, where you see what I just showed you a minute ago, that we have a solid one directly underneath and then one up alongside it. We've got our ridge beam and the steel in the floor. And then here, this is like the specs of it. So we've got a 7x2 floor joist at 600 centres and 7x2 roof joists. And then, like we touched on, we've got our rafters that have been doubled up. This is actually a 5x2, sorry. So it's actually a 5x2 that goes alongside it for extra support. So yeah, another build, all done, all good. Hopefully that's been some explaining and understanding the conversion of how you actually structurally convert a loft space, especially with a truss roof. Enjoy. Don't forget to hit that bell button. Don't want no trolls, because it is not a fully finished space. So like I say, we've not fully finished it, but I thought I'd just do this little video to give you an idea of what is possible. Enjoy. Speak soon.